Inflewence here. Thank you for joining me. Today we have MMC Stray, the alternative version. I love this figure. Fate happens again because I've never been into the IDW until recently, maybe the last year. So when this mold first came out a while ago, I wasn't interested at all. So I haven't looked at any videos. I didn't look at any reviews on it, any information on it. Fast forward, the alternative version is coming out, the Japanese car with the color. You can see what type of color it is with the paint job. It's all, man. And I mean, this figure is great. The paint is great. Articulation is great. Transformation is fine. I mean, I like it. It's enjoyable. It's not super hard. It's MMC. MMC, I just commented on Facebook about MMC. And this might have influenced that comment because all their figures are always good sculpts and good transformations. They seem to be really dialed in with transformations. And this is no different. It comes with a lot of accessories, as you know, or may not know. I've just gotten into it, so I may have some of the lore wrong, but I do know he ditched guns for swords. So he has a gun kind of, but it's more of a crossbow. You can see that. There's not much to say. Comes with the soft goods. Nice. Everything here is nice. So let's just get into this review. I highly recommend it if you're looking into it. If you're into this character. This version, I highly recommend.
Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe. I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube.
I had most of his accessories on. You see his crossbow thing. You can double it as a gun. You can turn it around or turn it like that and get this here and have it like that. That's fine. They don't go in like traditional masterpiece pegs. It's like a little clamp thing, and this thing does a bunch of stuff because it doubles as the car spoiler when it's on the car. Most everything can peg on the car as well and hide and store. You can see here his cape. I'm gonna take that off too for the review, for the rest of the review. He has two swords, so I put one of them back here, but you're gonna use one at a time because there's only one hilt. Take this off there. He has the two katanas, I guess, the smaller swords, smaller katana or daggers or whatever you would like to call it. Let's put him to the side for a second. So let's show the two swords first. Here they are. I use this one. It's a shorter sword. I do like this, I think, better. So I may switch and use this one. I only had this because I was using it as an example of storing everything. Because when you store the weapons, you can store the longer sword on the car, but it sticks out in the front. And I don't like that. This one doesn't. These hilts here, you can take this hilt off. You can take this off. You can put this piece on anything you want. You know, you can switch it over. I think I will switch it over. Switch that over there. Then you can have this one on and you just push this in here like that. And then you can put the hilt on here and then you have the longer sword. That's nice. Again, you have these two things where you can change it and to the smaller sword. Subscribe. The two daggers, see them up close. Identical, nice, blue paint. Really nice. This I showed a little bit. It's really nice. This spins around for different reasons. Cape, cloak, whatever. Nice. It is real soft fabric. It does have wires, so you can kind of spray it out and get it how you want. Has a hole back here for the sword sheath in his back. I'm gonna show that in a minute. And I like that it's split so it can come over top of his arms and you can still keep full function in the head. hole, the head hole. You get 2 extra faces. I don't know what I'm using. I may use one of these. I hope you can see that. Got a book, MMC book. It was okay. You got a card. It gives you addendum. I guess that's what you call it. Where you can, it shows how the spoiler goes. Well, it doesn't really show how the spoiler and goes underneath in alt mode. It's not a great explanation of how that goes. You see the box. No, I did not get the red windshield. That was a 1 in 12 chance. Would have been cool. I don't care. I don't mind. It would have been cool to get it, but, and you get this extra head. Somebody let me know what this is for. In my unboxing video, I said maybe it was when he was deadlocked, but no, it looks like a woman. So maybe this is for one of their other figures that I don't have and I might have to get. Because I do have a IDW shelf, which is what I was alluding to with Fate being what it is. I was not interested in this figure. Now I'm making an IDW shelf. There are a few configurations that I'll go through right this second. So you can move this around and move this up. And I think that's a different configuration, a different version of him in the comics. You can also move these up. They're on a double hinge right here. So you move them up and it's pegged on right here. So you gotta, I don't know if you can see that. There's a peg in there and then there's 2 pegs down below. So what you're doing is double hinging this up and moving the 2 pegs up and tabbing the 2 pegs in. And then you have like the higher shoulder. So you can see it doesn't make that much of a difference. The only thing I don't like is here it's flush and looking right. And here you got a hole that you can see through it, but it might be accurate. I mean, no problem. So let me push it back down for purposes of this video. I had the katanas in earlier, but you can just put them in like that. The articulation on this guy is excellent. So you can make him grab his katanas and about to pull them out. I just think that's dope. Like you could have him on the shelf like this with all his other accessories on. About to get it in. Oh, and right here, these pieces they move in. Let me see. Yeah, they move in like that. I don't want to push them in because they are kind of hard to get out, but they're supposed to be up. They kind of widen the body, the bottom part of the body more. I don't know what to compare him to. Here's some just masterpiece figures. That's DX9's side swipe. That's the car's prow. I thought it fitting since the new prow is about to come out with DX9s. Even though I don't like the holes in the legs, but that's for another day. Let's get into articulation. Articulation is abundant. Head. So you got the definite deep side to side. Up isn't as much as you might like. Down, not as much. It's enough for me because you can get a nice pose. Like he's talking, like, what are you talking about? You got these shoulders all the way out, 90 degrees. They also have this butterfly here that is like this. It's somewhat for transformation, but you can get it out like that and then get it deep. So it moves, it has a double hinge like that too. So you can have it going like that. Of course, you get the 360. I like that it looks like there's a lot going on, but it doesn't impede a different grip. Oh, let me move this down because I like this better, like that. Arm, elbow. He has double jointed elbow. You get the full run, just about. But he also has a joint right here, which I've never seen an arm with 2 joints. So it's really like elbow, forearm, lower forearm joint. So you can definitely get it all the way. And you can have it. One of my complaints, I think one of my gripes too. Well, 2. I have 2 complaints. One was the skinniness of the arms, but now I'm used to it. It was just looking kind of skinny, but they're not unproportional because the legs aren't that thick either. And so I don't think it looks necessarily terrible. I just reckon it just stood out to me. But when you have it posed, it's fine. Also, his fingers. The one over here falls off like, well, it fell off like twice. And on cue. It fell off on cue. I was not trying to make it fall off. I was just trying to maneuver it. It's just on friction. I haven't had a problem with any of the other ones. Oh, damn it. Leaving that in. I haven't had problems with any of the other fingers. But like I said, it's just on friction. But they're really, really articulated. So I went over that one articulation point. So you have this. You also have the arm that goes in. More for transformation. But there's a joint here that you can make the hand go in like that. So you have that. Like I said, it's more for transformation, but then you have the out and flip it in without using that joint. And then all the fingers are on individual articulated points. Thumb is on a ball joint with two. With two. It's a ball joint and a hinge and another knuckle. So you get two knuckles. And then the fingers have three knuckles. And it has the ball joints so you can sprawl them out. So I think that's a nice articulation. Waist, get the 360 and you get an ab crunch. Pretty nice ab crunch. No slouch. You got these things here that you can spin around and get out the way. You have this flops around somewhat, so it might be better. I don't know if it's better like this. Like I said, it's a different look. It does stay in the spot where it needs to stay when it's like that, but I don't think that's the original look. I think it's this. Again, you get the skirts out. You get that. He does the hurdles, the full hurdles. Drop down space. You can see it right there, that hole. Side to side. You do have to move the I don't know what they're called. I keep calling them sheaths. I'm not sure if that's what it's called or not. I'm not a sword expert. But you got the splits. Got a double jointed knee. You can get all the way up. You got this kneecap that moves. So even when if you get it like that and you want to move it a little bit, you can move it down or up, just depending on how you want the knee displayed. You got swivel up here at the thigh joint. And feet, you get foot toe tilt down and up. You kind of can change, you can move this right here so you can get kind of move around. You get the rocker. It's a pretty good deep rocker, not bad. And that's it for articulation. Wonderfully articulated figure. So the shoulder, you want to pull this up. There's a peg in there that you kind of want to put to the side. You can see that peg. And then right here, it's a double, what you call that? Double hinge, I guess. Then you can hinge that up. Then you want to push this flap in. You do have to get it around here. It's not the easiest. I mean, it's not the smoothest thing right there, but it's fine. You can pull this out here. And this is on, I'll turn it around. This is on like a slider. It slides all around. So you can slide it out to get it around that stuff. And then you slide like that and slide it, or it moves. This moves out too. And then you can see it lined up. Then you move that in there. And it'll line up like that. This flap here you can push in. So it's like that. Eventually this will come down. Now, I moved this out. I don't think I said it, but I pulled it out on that double hinge. Sure, the fist is folded in like that, and then I spin it around. Then you want to fold this in like that and fold this out. Now eventually this is going to fold up and collapse on itself. Then I move this around. When you're moving all of this stuff, make sure you don't mess up this elbow or shoulder joint right here. There's a little screw in there that you should have just like that. It should be on top. It should be pointing to this panel right here. So once you have that, it moves most likely. I only got it out of sync like once. So then you want to move this around here like that, and at the same time you're pushing it up in there. And it's kind of intuitive. You can get it together. Move this down. You can move this up. And then move this in here. Put it back. There's a little peg there that pegs into there. And you can peg that into there if you can get it. You can move this out a little bit like this. And then you got enough. It's because the two arms will fold up together. And you'll see. So over here, you pull this up. Double hinge right there. Don't forget, there's a peg in there. So you want to move that to the side. It just pegged back in. There we go. And move that up. You're moving it up on the double hinge a little bit. Let me fold this in first before I talk about that. Then you get this around that shoulder best as possible. But like I was saying, you're moving this up on this double hinge right here. It's not this whole panel. When I first did it, I was thinking it was this whole panel, but it's not. It's arm in, spin this hand around. Then you move it on this joint right here. Then you move it up so it's flat against the body. You can push this little piece out like that. Then you can see it all coming together. This piece is on like a slider, so you can just slide it around so you can get it where you need it, and then just slide it back. You can push this in there like that. Then double this up on itself. Make sure this is out the way so you're not hitting that. Then you're moving this back down, and don't forget that peg. You want to peg that in. Then you can move this down, move this up and back. There's seats right here that you want to push. It'll kind of come back, but you want to push them all the way back until they click. And then you have headrests that you want to move out, which is wild. And they just move out and stick up. I forgot the steering wheel. I'm gonna cut this in because you gotta flip out the steering wheel, or this piece will not go down as far as it's supposed to go. And then you can see it goes in quite easily. So this you can move in like that, and then push his head down in. Then you can get this stuff together. Move this up there, flip this around, and it's like that. Again, move this up there, flip this around, and it is like that. And then you can put this front together and just move it around until you got it exact. Now this goes down here, and these two have, you see the tabs? Tabs go into the front right here. Again, intuitive. If you're just looking at it and you know what a car looks like, or it's supposed to look like, you can move this around like that. Pull these doors out, flip these windows up, flip the door out. Do I got it right? Yeah, move these up like that. and the window is on a little slider. It slid a tad bit, ever so slightly forward. So you just want to slide that before you push it all the way up. And then this goes here. And there's a tab here that tabs into the side of the bate. Again, over here, same thing. Open up that. Well, you can slide it while you have it like this, because you don't want it all the way open. It won't slide. And you move this out. Flip this around. This goes in there like this. You can leave the doors open, and we can work on these legs. Legs aren't hard. You just have to do certain things in certain ways. So this right here is on like a out joint. I can't ever get it to come out too far because it doesn't really matter, because it's still, this flexes so it comes out enough for you to fool with it. And flip this little panel out. Then you want to pull the foot off like this. Move this all back. This flips up. Then you can move this up like this in order to flip this all the way around like this. And this is on a slider as well. It's going to be slid forward. Then you pull this out. You do all that just to get room to work around this. Then what you want to do is move this up forward instead of back and get it around this little piece here. Here we go. Like that. Move this piece around too. And then you're going to get this little circle in that little circle right there. And how you do that, you just push this up. And it's on a series of joints and sliders and things. And you can hear it kind of snap in. It's not really a peg or anything, I don't think. It just snaps in. This can spin around. And it just lays flat. So now you're flipping this leg around on these, both of the knee joints. So the double knee joint. And you're like that. Then you can move this down here. Oh, you know what I forgot? But this knee joint, push up into there. Now you can get all this situated. And this is when you can close this door. Again, I'm not fooling with this yet. But this goes all the way up. And there's a tab, the tab here that tabs into right there. If it's right. And there's a tab here that tabs into there. But you know what? I'll do that in a minute because I want to do the other leg and then put it together. This back here, you got to get situated. You want to move it down. You can move it out like that, then move that down, then move this in, because then it pegs in right there. You can see that peg. And it'll peg in there. You can flip this down. Where's the peg at? Over here is the same thing. Move this down. Flip this all around like this so you can get this out of here. Flip this over. Go like that. Flip this up. And you can spin this all around and then flip it back down and do the same thing you did before. Flip this around here and then get this little circle into that space right there. And you know you got it where it should be. Then the knee, push the knee up. I didn't forget it that time. Then you want to flip this around, because then that peg will be lined up with this peg. Then use the double knee joint. Flip this down. You might as well move this down here. Move this out. Peg this together. Get that peg in there. Takes a little bit to do. Then all of this. Then like I said, there's those two things that come together and peg in at the top. And then get these together. Watch these tabs because they're small. And there you go. You see how it just solidified. That's because I had this right. And this stuff might come out. Just, you know, just fix it. Then you have a tab there, tabs in, and then push this a little. If you don't have it correct and it's a tab on both sides, it might not be all the way up, but once you get it in there, it'll stay. And vehicle mode. Great looking vehicle. Great looking vehicle mode. Rubber tires. Has, you can get that a little better. I ain't gonna fool with it. Has rims, red rims. Paint job is great. You got a little, you know, side skirts, and because it's a kitted car. The front, I think the other one had pop-up headlights, which are not, I don't know. No, I don't think they're on there because this has the regular headlights. But yeah, we roll. And then you can bring this in. Pull this, it's the spoiler. Then pull this down, And then to put the spoiler on, there's like a little lips on the ends of these things. So you want to lip it onto there. Make sure you line it up. You might have to push this in a little. Line it up to where the holes are. And then you kind of fold it over. Like I said, it's intuitive, just like everything else on here. Kind of fold it over there. And there you go. Got the spoiler on. So I bring in both swords so you can see what I mean. You want to take the hilt off. The hilt does not store anywhere, but I have kind of rigged it up to store somewhere. So you want to take this off. And either one will fit in here. Even both will fit in here. So you see this little, there's a little peg in the front here. Move this arm a little bit so you can stick this in. You can do it during transformation and it might be easier. Where's the, here we go. But it's fine. So then you store it in there. It goes into that peg. Either one will fit. Both will fit. So you can put both on each side. Here, you want to put the sword here. You can move this out. Make it a little easier. Then you put the sword. Like I said, this is the long sword. And you can see it sticks out in the front. I don't like that. Which if I were to have the swords, I probably won't keep it in vehicle mode, but if I was going to, I would just do this. And the hilt, I put the hilt there just because it'll stay. So the sword goes there. Then you bring the katanas. They have a little hole right there, a hole right there, peg there, peg there. So then they store like this. Like that. Same over here. And they're the ones that kind of keep the other piece in. It's not perfect because it's a little bit too low. But you see it stays. And then this, I already showed in the beginning how you take this off and plug it in. And then what you do is, then you can plug this into here. There's two peg holes on the sides of the legs. and there's a peg right here that pegs into the back, and it's like that. And you see when you have the handle how it is. This sticks down a little bit because these really should be pushed up if you're going to have this in, but I don't push it up. I just leave it like that, so it is a little bent. And you can see everything stores if that's something you would want. I think it kind of looks cool with the exhaust up. But yeah, like I was saying, it's a tiny bit too much. You can see just a little, just that little bit there makes it so it doesn't roll as well. But if you wanted to have it on display and keep all your accessories together, it is what it is. The other thing you can do is open the doors. There's a little space there. Open the doors. You see there's a seat with the headrest. Even has details like on the dashboard and like to control the seat details. And this is a Japanese car, so the steering wheel's on this side. This figure is fantastic. Definitely recommend this figure. The alternative version, that is, if you're in the market. Details are great. We got the fender flares, and you can see the rivets where they kind of flared out the fender, maybe added it on. I'm a car guy, so I like stuff like that. You got the spoiler, maximum downforce. Got the gas tank, man. Yeah, it's a lot of good details in this figure, in this car. And there's some stickers for the windows too, I think, available if that's your thing. If you don't like them, I love it. I think the car is fantastic. I think the robot's fantastic. Everything. Transformation is fun. Like this transformation I did 3-4 times already, and it's complicated but not frustrating and fun. That's where I like. That's why MMC is one of my top people. Even though I don't have a lot of their figures, they're one of my top third-party companies, because their transformations always seem fun and somewhat intuitive. All right, so I'm out of here. Thanks for joining me today, if you got through this whole thing, and I'll hit you in another one. Peace.
You know, life ain't no, life ain't no, life ain't no. As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high if you want it.